In this training module, you'll be taken through the operation of this M7 electrical multiple unit. Manufactured by Bombardier Transportation, the M7 was introduced in 2002. For this introduction, you'll be driving the train a short distance and performing passenger operations. The master key is used to activate the control desk. Set the reverser. This controls the direction of travel. Set the headlights to let others around us know this train is operational. This unit has a combined power and brake handle called a master controller. Engage this as indicated to begin the startup procedure. You'll need to charge the brake pipe before you can release the brakes. The M7 was introduced in 2002 to replace the aging M1 stock, which had been in operation since the late 1960s. Between 1999 and 2006, more than 1,000 M7 and M7As were constructed, the latter of which run on the Metro North Railroad. Move the master controller into the power range to get moving. Coasting is a method used to efficiently maintain speed and reduce motor stress and maintenance requirements. Keeping to speed limits is important. If you begin overspeeding, apply a small amount of braking force using the master controller. Each set of M7 were constructed as a married pair, with controls for an engineer, conductor or brakeman in each car. These units are known for their reliability. As of 2007, the M7 has the highest mean distance between failures out of the entire Long Island Railroad fleet. You're approaching the station. Gently bring the train to a stop using the master controller. Close the doors and drive to the next station unguided. Good work. That concludes all the basics of operating this train. In this training module, you'll be taken through the basics of understanding ATC, Automatic Train Control, and Access, Advanced Civil Speed Enforcement System. ATC and Access work together to relay signal aspects and speed restrictions to the equipment in the cab. You should always follow in-cab signaling, even if you have not enabled enforcement. As you have enabled enforcement, penalty braking will be applied if speed restriction limits are not acknowledged or adhered to. Let's take a look over the onboard equipment to understand how to read and react to them. Most of your information will be displayed in this ADU, or Aspect Display Unit. The speed indicators on the left side of the ADU display the current ATC cab aspect. The track speed shown on the right of the ADU is the current speed for access. You should always adhere to the lowest of these two speeds, even if enforcement isn't enabled. Let's get moving and see how ATC and Access will enforce speed limit changes. The ADU is currently showing a 60 speed aspect. This means you're able to drive up to your maximum authorized speed. The alerter will sound periodically if certain controls are not interacted with. When this happens, you must acknowledge the alerter or penalty braking will be applied. If penalty braking is applied, you will need to recover the train once it has come to a stop. To recover the train, you will need to recharge the brake pipe. Move the master controller into the max brake position and then press and hold the brake charge button. next signal is at a reduced aspect. When this happens, the alerter will sound. You must acknowledge the restriction and move the master controller into the braking range to slow the train down to the required speed. The onboard computer keeps track of the train's position and calculates a safe braking curve for upcoming access speed restrictions. The speed aspect shown on the ADU has changed. This could indicate there is congestion or another train ahead. Track sections under ATC and access might be occupied by multiple trains, allowing for high density on busier lines. Not only must you drive at a reduced speed, but you are expected to drive by sight, which means you must be prepared to stop if you see a train in front of you. The line ahead has cleared. You do not need to acknowledge speed increases, only reductions. Overspeeding may result in penalty braking being applied. Always stick to the maximum permitted speed. When adhering to the Access displayed track speed, you have a grace of 3 miles per hour over the maximum authorized speed. Any more and an alarm will sound. You then have 8 seconds to reduce your speed before penalty braking is applied. If you exceed 6 miles per hour over the displayed track speed, penalty brakes will come on immediately. Remember, always stick to the maximum authorized speed shown on the ADU, even if you have not enabled enforcement. Failure to do this may cause unsafe conditions on the line. As a new driver, you should remain a few miles per hour under the maximum authorized speed. This will give you enough of a buffer to avoid speeding penalties and react to speed reductions. Good work. That concludes this introduction to ATC and Access. You can always replay this training module if you ever need to refresh your memory. Welcome to Long Beach Station, located in Nassau County, New York. This station was originally built in 1880 as part of the New York and Long Beach Railroad, although it was relocated 1,000 feet north to its present location in 1909 to prevent storm damage from the Atlantic Ocean. There's a missing route map over there. Fix that while you're here. There are more tasks to complete. Don't forget to apply the route maps, place no trespassing signs, refill bagel stands, and repair electrical cabinets. Follow the markers to board your train. Sit down in any available seat in the indicated car. The history of the Long Island Railroad dates back to 1832, making it the oldest railroad in the United States that is still operating under its original name and charter. The railroad went through a period of rapid expansion, competition and incorporation during the 1800s. Various entrepreneurs started to get involved in railroads, each seeing the importance of them in the area. By the late 1800s, the line had come under the directorship of Austin Corbin, who would begin plans to connect the line directly with Manhattan by means of either a tunnel or bridge over the East River. Corbin started negotiating with the Pennsylvania Railroad in 1900 for access to their planned PRR terminal in Manhattan. Later that year, the Pennsylvania Railroad bought a controlling share in the Long Island Railroad for $6 million, around $220 million in today's money. Construction of the East River tunnels started soon after. They officially opened in 1910, connecting the LIRR with Manhattan and the PRR. The LIRR would remain under the ownership of the PRR until 1965, when the state of New York purchased it for $65 million, the equivalent of around $635 million today. This large influx of state money allowed the LIRR to replace its aging stock, some of which have been in use since 1908. This is Train Sim World Long Island Railroad Commuter.
うん。